Hey everyone, Jordan Leibel with Pianote here, and here we are talking about mistakes and how to avoid making them in front of people. There's a time and place to make mistakes, and that's during a practice session, not during a performance. So you can learn a lot through mistakes, but there's always a time that you want to avoid doing them. So I got a couple tips here to talk about that'll keep you mistake-free while you're playing live. The first tip that we're going to talk about is making sure that you have plenty of confidence in your accuracy at the piano. So a great way to just build accuracy is something as simple as playing solid triads in all their inversions up and down the piano. So just here we are at C major. And that'll build spatial awareness kind of subconsciously in your head as you're just making those shapes on the keyboard. So when it comes time to play them live, you're not even having to think about it. The next tip that we're going to talk about is kind of playing off the first one. It's making sure that your technique is nice and tight. So never forget that when you're playing a scale or a phrase or a melody, you're meant to be playing on the ball tips of your fingers, with your fingers nice and round, kind of like this. That'll keep your fingers from hitting any other of the neighboring keys as you're playing your phrase, so you'll avoid situations where you're kind of playing two notes with one finger. And the final tip that I want to talk about is maybe you've got your accuracy nice and on lock while you're practicing, maybe your technique is perfect, and you get to a performance setting and you still make a mistake. The biggest skill that all musicians can learn as far as making mistakes and avoiding them being a big deal is just keep going. Don't stop if you make that mistake, or else everyone's going to notice. 90% of those mistakes that you do make will go totally unnoticed by the audience if you just confidently play through them. So if you're playing along and you make a mistake, everyone's going to know if you stop playing and the whole band's going to train wreck and you got to do a hard reset on the song. That's a terrible scenario. That's like worst case scenario. But if you just keep playing through it and catch up with your bandmates, more likely than not, that whole situation is going to go completely unnoticed by the audience. All right, so to recap, what you want to do to avoid making mistakes in front of people is make sure your playing is nice and accurate while you're practicing. Make sure your technique is nice and tight while you're practicing. And if you're performing and you do make that mistake, just keep going through it. All right, so happy practicing, happy performing. If you have anything else that you want to learn about the piano, be sure to check us out at pianote.com.